Seniors, skip this before bed and watch your muscles disappear. Listen carefully, because this may be the most important thing you hear all year. If you're over 50 and you skip what I'm about to share with you tonight, your body will betray you quietly, invisibly, while you sleep. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll be just a little weaker than you were yesterday. And the next day, weaker still. This isn't just about losing muscle, it's about losing your independence, your vitality, your sense of self. And the worst part, you won't even know it's happening. The hidden truth about muscle loss after 50. Most people think that muscle loss after 50 is normal. That is just something that comes with the territory, like gray hair or crow's feet. But that's a dangerous misunderstanding. Here's what most doctors won't tell you. Your muscles don't disappear because of age. They disappear because of what your body does when you're not paying attention. And where does that happen most? At night. You see, when you were younger, your body was an incredibly efficient machine. It worked with you, not against you. While you slept, it would heal, rebuild, and recharge. It was loyal. But somewhere around your 50s, something changes. It's like your body starts turning on you. The very system that once supported you begins to eat away at the foundation of your strength. This betrayal doesn't happen during workouts or meals. It happens when you're most vulnerable while you sleep. Why this matters deeply, more than just muscle. Now let me be clear, this isn't just a medical issue. It's not just about protein or hormones or exercise. What I've discovered through more than 20 years of studying Shaolin body practices, energy flow, and the inner architecture of the human body is that this is also spiritual. Yes, spiritual, because your muscles aren't just fibers. They're living memory. They hold your resilience. They carry your life story. Every embrace, every fall, every act of rising again, they're etched into your tissue, into your frame, into the strength you carry. When you lose muscle after 50, you're not just losing function. You're losing history. You're losing identity. You're losing pieces of yourself. The silent killer that strikes while you sleep. Here's what really happens when you go to sleep tonight unless you do something about it. Around 2:00 a.m., when your body enters its deepest sleep phase, it starts making a decision that will determine whether you wake up stronger or closer to decline. It scans your body. It looks at your fat stores. It looks at your muscle tissue. And then if you haven't prepared properly before sleep, your body makes the wrong choice. Instead of burning fat for energy, it begins to break down your muscles. This process has a name: nocturnal muscle catabolism. That's right, your body eats its own strength to survive the night. Millions of seniors are experiencing this right now. They're tucked in bed, sleeping soundly, with no idea that their bodies are cannibalizing themselves from the inside out. And the worst part, they wake up feeling rested, yet they're actually weaker than when they close their eyes. The downward spiral begins here, but it doesn't stop there. This muscle loss creates a vicious cycle. With less muscle, your metabolism slows. With a slower metabolism, fat storage increases. More fat makes your body even more likely to burn muscle. And less muscle leads to worse balance, slower recovery, and higher risk of injury. It's like a hidden trap door opens beneath you, and you don't realize you've fallen until it's too late. This is the cycle that robs people of their mobility, their strength, their independence. And it happens silently in the one place we've always believed we were safe: our sleep. What comes next? In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to interrupt this cycle. There is one simple action rooted in ancient wisdom and validated by modern science that can flip the switch in your body, turning it from a muscle destroyer into a muscle preserver. And once you understand it, you'll never go to bed the same way again. Stay with me. What I share next could change the way you age forever. You now understand the terrifying truth: your body can quietly consume your strength while you sleep. But what happens next? What unfolds after just a few nights of losing muscle without even realizing it? That's where things begin to spiral. The vicious cycle that silently destroys strength. It starts with a little less muscle. That may not sound like a big deal, but less muscle means your metabolism slows down, and when your metabolism slows, your body stops burning calories efficiently. Instead of using fat as fuel, it starts storing it, and more fat storage. That leads to increased inflammation throughout your body. Inflammation then begins to affect your sleep quality. Your body struggles to reach deep restorative rest. And poor sleep. You guessed, it leads to even more muscle loss. What you now have is a death spiral. A downward loop that begins so subtly, so gradually, you don't even feel it happening. One day you wake up and realize you've lost strength, balance, energy, and by then, years have slipped away. I've watched this happen over and over again. People who were once active, capable, strong slowly wither into frail versions of themselves. And here's the cruelest part, it's not because of disease. It's not even about genetics. It's because no one ever taught them how to protect their bodies during the hours when it mattered most, the hours of sleep. They thought aging meant accepting weakness, but that's the biggest lie we've ever been told. Ancient wisdom that modern medicine forgot. The ancient Shaolin masters understood something that much of today's science has only recently begun to acknowledge. The human body is not a machine. It is a living energy system. It doesn't just decay over time. It can be programmed, directed, and even healed if you know how to interact with it properly. Every night before you fall asleep, you have a sacred window of opportunity, a moment in time when your body is listening, when it's open to receiving your instructions. This window typically lasts 20 to 30 minutes between the moment you begin winding down and the moment you actually drift off into sleep. And in this small space of time, you can send signals to your body. You can tell it what matters. You can tell it what to preserve. You can refuse to lose what still belongs to you, your strength, your vitality, your independence. The night reveals what the day conceals. There's an old saying in the Shaolin temples, the night reveals what the day conceals. What does that mean? It means that during the day, you can hide your weakness. You can mask your fatigue with coffee, adrenaline, or sheer willpower. You can push through with noise, busyness, distraction. But at night, when everything is quiet, when your mind slows down and your defenses drop, your body shows its true priorities. And the truth is, unless you consciously direct your energy, your body will default to breakdown, not preservation. The secret of muscle meditation. The monks knew this. They knew that if you entered sleep with intention, you could train the body to rebuild rather than deteriorate. So they practiced what they called muscle meditation. It wasn't physical movement, it was mental power. They would lie still breathing slowly and begin focusing their attention on each major muscle group in their body, sending energy and intention to those areas. They would visualize strength. They would imagine their bodies repairing and growing stronger overnight. They believed that the mind could direct the body's healing process. And here's the amazing part, modern science now supports this idea. Recent research shows that mental visualization and focused intention can trigger muscle protein synthesis, the very process your body uses to build and repair muscle tissue. So when you direct your mind toward your body before sleep, you're not just thinking positive. You're changing the biochemical environment inside you. You're shifting your energy from breakdown to regeneration. The Energy Direction Protocol. What to do next? Let me now show you exactly what you need to do and why each step is absolutely critical if you want to preserve your strength, maintain your vitality, and stay fully alive in your later years. This isn't a theory. This isn't philosophy. This is practical, ancient meets modern wisdom that can reshape how you age starting tonight. Step 1. Pay attention to your final meal. Your pre-sleep routine doesn't start when you lie down. It begins when you finish eating. What you eat in the final 2 to 3 hours before bedtime directly influences whether your body will break down muscle or preserve it overnight. And here's where most people go wrong, especially seniors. They eat carbohydrates too close to bedtime. They think carbs will help me sleep, or I just need a little snack. But what they're actually doing is spiking their insulin, which sends a powerful signal to the body. Store fat. Use muscle. Instead of entering sleep in a state of restoration, their bodies shift into catabolism where muscle tissue is the first to go. In the next section, I'll walk you through exactly what to eat, when to eat it, and how to activate the same recovery systems the Shaolin monks used to stay powerful well into old age without setting foot in a gym. Because once you understand this window of time, and once you learn how to command your body with clarity and intention, everything changes. In the last section, you learned how your body enters a critical decision-making phase every night, where it chooses whether to preserve muscle or break it down. That decision begins with how you eat, and it ends with how you connect to your body before sleep. Let's go deeper. The truth about your final meal. Here's the truth: eating carbohydrates late at night sends your body a very specific message. It says, store fat, burn muscle. Most people don't realize this. They think a bedtime snack, a piece of bread, some fruit, a bowl of cereal will help them relax, maybe even sleep better. But what they're really doing is activating insulin spikes, which signals the body to shift into fat storage mode and begin breaking down muscle tissue for fuel. Instead, your final meal of the day should be centered around high-quality protein and healthy fats. These nutrients not only support muscle repair, but they help regulate hormones and blood sugar while you sleep, setting the stage for restoration, not regression. But it's not just what you eat that matters, it's how you eat it. The ancient practitioners understood that eating was a sacred act, especially that final meal of the day. They didn't rush. They didn't eat distracted in front of a screen. They sat in stillness, chewing slowly, honoring the food for what it truly was, fuel for strength. They practiced what we now call mindful eating. With every bite, they felt gratitude not just for the food, but for the opportunity to care for their bodies. And this isn't just some spiritual tradition, it's practical physiology. When you eat slowly and with awareness, your nervous system shifts into parasympathetic mode, the rest and digest state. Your body releases digestive enzymes, regulates insulin, and absorbs nutrients more efficiently. You prepare your entire system for the deep cellular level recovery that can only happen while you sleep. 30 minutes before bed. The Strength Preservation Protocol. Roughly 30 minutes before you plan to sleep, it's time to begin what I call the Strength Preservation Protocol. This is an exercise. It's not about breaking a sweat. It's about conscious muscle activation. Start by standing up tall. Feel your feet rooted into the earth, grounded and balanced. Then from the bottom of your body to the top, begin gently contracting and releasing each muscle group. Start with your toes, then your calves, then your thighs. Move upward glutes, core, chest, shoulders, arms, neck, jaw, and even your face. With each muscle, engage, then release. This isn't random movement. It's about re-establishing the mind-body connection, waking up the neural pathways that remind your muscles, I'm here, I see you, I need you. Breathe deeply through your nose as you do this. Inhale fully. Exhale slowly. Each breath is like oxygenated fuel flowing to your muscle tissue. This practice isn't new. The Shaolin masters believed that breath was the bridge between consciousness and the physical body. And science agrees. Deep, deliberate breathing improves oxygen delivery, reduces cortisol, your stress hormone, and increases the release of growth hormone, the very hormone your body uses to rebuild and maintain muscle during sleep. This is how you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair system that works quietly all night long to restore your body. Entering the sacred window. Now we reach the most critical part of your nightly ritual, the sacred window. This begins the moment you lie down in bed, eyes closed, body still, but before sleep takes hold. This isn't meditation in the traditional sense. It's not about clearing your mind. It's about entering into an active conscious partnership with your physical body. Start by performing a systematic body scan. Begin at your feet. Gently bring your attention upward slowly, moving through your legs, hips, core, chest, shoulders, arms, and all the way to the top of your head. But here's the key. You're not just observing, you're communicating. With every muscle group you pass, you speak to it mentally with clarity. Say to your body, I value you. I need you. Stay strong while I sleep. It may sound mystical, but here's the truth. Your muscles are living tissues filled with intelligence. They respond to the signals you send them. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It's programming. As you scan, visualize each muscle group glowing with warm golden light, radiant, pulsing, alive. Imagine that light as your life force flowing through every fiber, restoring what was worn, rebuilding what was strained, strengthening what was weakened. See your body not as it is now, but as you want it to be: stable, confident, capable, whole. Feel the power surging quietly within you, even as your breath slows and your body softens into rest. Focusing on the core, where strength begins and ends. As you near the end of your scan, spend extra time with your core muscles, your deep abdominal wall, your lower back, and your spinal support muscles. These are the unsung heroes of your body. They determine whether you can stand tall or struggle to sit up, whether you can get out of a chair independently or need someone's hand, whether you move with confidence or shuffle with hesitation. Send extra energy here. Feel these muscles respond to your attention, your breath, your commitment. Visualize them anchoring you like steel cables, resilient, unbreakable, alive. Final programming statement. your last thought before sleep. As sleep begins to take you end with a phrase that seals everything you've done. Say it silently, but with absolute conviction. My body rebuilds and strengthens while I sleep. I wake up more vital than I was today. This is not just positive thinking. This is your final instruction, your closing command to your biology. Your body is listening. It always has been. And now you've finally learned how to speak its language. You've now begun to see how nighttime isn't just a rest period, it's the most powerful window for transformation. But that shift goes even deeper. This is about fundamentally redefining your relationship with your aging body, changing the way you see your body. The reason so many people struggle with aging isn't because their bodies are broken, it's because they've been taught to see their bodies as failing machines. This belief alone begins the breakdown. Because when you believe your body is in decline, you begin to act like it is. You move less. You expect less. You stop listening to what it needs. But your body isn't a machine. It's not lifeless hardware waiting to rust. Your body is a living, intelligent partner, one that listens, one that responds, one that reflects how you treat it, how you think about it, and whether you honor or dismiss it. And here's the key difference between those who thrive into their 80s and 90s and those who don't. The strong ones never accepted that aging meant inevitable weakness. They treated their bodies with respect, with intention, and with a quiet understanding that each day was another chance to grow stronger, not weaker. They didn't just take care of their bodies, they collaborated with them. This collaboration isn't abstract. It becomes most powerful at night, because that's when the conscious mind steps aside and the deeper, ancient intelligence within the body has space to emerge. The power of the nighttime practice. When you follow the strength preservation protocol, you're not just preserving muscle, you're building a new relationship with your physical self based on mutual trust and shared goals. I've witnessed this transformation firsthand countless times. Seniors who seem destined for slow decline, fragile, exhausted, withdrawn, begin to change. They stand a little taller, they move a little quicker, they smile with more confidence. Their families call it miraculous. But it's not a miracle. It's the natural outcome of reconnecting with the body's built-in intelligence. Your muscles want to stay strong. Your body wants to remain vital. But in a culture obsessed with shortcuts and dependent on prescriptions, we've forgotten how to communicate with our own biology. Strength isn't just preserved during the day through workouts or diets. It's programmed at night through awareness, focus, and intention. Modern poisons. Why your body is under attack. And now let's address what you're up against. Because even if you follow every step perfectly, you're still living in a world that is actively working against your vitality. Modern life is poisoning your body's ability to rebuild every single night. You may not feel it, you may not see it, but it's happening. Let's break it down. Blue light from screens, TVs, phones, tablets disrupts your melatonin production, which regulates sleep quality and recovery hormones like human growth hormone, HGH. Chronic stress from emails, news, and non-stop alerts keeps your nervous system in fight or flight mode, even while you're in bed. Processed foods and environmental toxins increase inflammation, accelerating muscle breakdown and inhibiting cellular repair. Even your sleeping position, the softness of your mattress, and the temperature of your room can contribute to poor muscle support, leading to subtle but real deterioration over time. And yet, most people are never told this. Why? Because the pharmaceutical industry and supplement giants have made billions convincing people that muscle loss is inevitable and that the only way to slow it is with expensive lifelong medication. But that's not the truth. That's a business model. The real truth is that your body already has everything it needs to preserve strength. It just needs the right signals, the right environment, and the right relationship with your mind. The slow decline that feels invisible. What's most dangerous about this assault on your strength is how subtle it is. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel weak. It's not like a switch being flipped. It's gradual, so gradual that you barely notice. One day you need 2 hands to open a jar. Then a few weeks later, you realize stairs leave you winded. Eventually, you struggle to rise from a chair without pushing yourself up with your arms. Each of these small moments feels insignificant on its own, but together they form a pattern that ends in dependency, fragility, and fear. Most people don't realize what's happening until it feels like it's too late. But here's the truth, it's not too late. Cellular command, the deeper truth. At the deepest level, what I'm teaching you is something few ever learn: the power of cellular command. This is not about willpower. This is not about motivation. This is about learning how to consciously direct your body's repair systems, how to influence the very cells that rebuild you from the inside out. Because your cells, they are not machines. They are living, responsive beings capable of adapting, responding, and strengthening based on the signals you send. Those signals don't just come from workouts or diets. They come from your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your routines before sleep, and your willingness to partner with your body instead of punishing it. You now understand why muscle loss isn't just about age. It's about neglect, disconnection, and the noise of modern life drowning out the wisdom of your biology. But the moment you decide to listen, to reconnect, to reclaim your strength, your body will respond. In the last section, we talked about how modern life chips away at your strength. But now let's flip the script and focus on what happens when you begin sending your body the right signals. Because when you do something extraordinary takes place not just physically, but biologically, emotionally, and spiritually. Activating the body's intelligence, where science meets spirit. When you lie in bed at night, calm, quiet, and grateful for your body. When you close your eyes and visualize strength flowing through your muscles, something profound begins to happen at the cellular level. You're not just relaxing, you're changing the way your genes behave. Through a process called epigenetics, your thoughts, your breath, your inner focus begin to influence your biology. You're activating genes responsible for muscle repair, regeneration, and growth, while suppressing the ones responsible for muscle breakdown and decay. This isn't just theory. This is science catching up to what the ancient masters knew all along. They didn't see the mind and body as separate. They saw them as two expressions of the same force, inseparable, interwoven, always communicating. To them, consciousness wasn't a passive observer of the body, it was a director of it. They believed that intention could shape biology, that your internal state could influence external strength. And today, research from leading institutions is beginning to prove them right. The power of belief backed by science. Recent studies show that seniors who maintain positive beliefs about aging, those who view aging as a time of potential rather than decline, experience better physical outcomes, longer lifespans, and more preserved strength. The placebo effect. It's not just a trick of the mind. It's a powerful demonstration of how belief can reprogram biology. But belief alone isn't enough. You need more than just hope. You need practice. You need ritual. You need consistent communication with your body, not just during workouts or health scares, but in the quiet moments when your body is most receptive, especially as you drift into sleep. It's about no longer seeing your body as a burden or a deteriorating machine, but as a wise, loyal partner, one that's carried you through every phase of life and deserves your attention, your respect, and your care. The promise of transformation, beginning with night 1. When you begin implementing the strength preservation protocol, you're not just preventing muscle loss, you're initiating a complete shift in the way you experience aging. Within the first few nights, many people report sleeping more deeply, but it's not just better sleep, it's more efficient sleep. Your body begins using that time differently to rebuild, to restore, to strengthen. By the end of the first week, you may start waking up with a new kind of clarity, a lightness, a sense that your body worked for you, not against you while you slept. By the end of the first month, subtle but meaningful changes emerge. You climb stairs more easily. You feel more grounded when you walk. You rise from chairs with stability, not strain. People begin to notice you seem more alive. What are you doing differently? And that question, that's the first proof that your transformation is taking root. The real change is within. But here's the thing, the most profound shift isn't in your arms or legs, it's in your mind. It's in your spirit. You stop viewing yourself as someone whose best days are behind them, and you begin to see yourself as someone whose strength is still growing, whose wisdom is just beginning to align with vitality. You stop accepting limitations. You start exploring possibilities. You stop aging passively. You start aging powerfully. And that inner transformation, it creates a positive feedback loop that accelerates your physical progress. Because when you believe in your body's ability to remain strong, you treat it differently. And when you treat it differently, it responds differently. And as it responds, your belief grows stronger still. Soon, you're living proof that aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean refinement. It can mean renewal. It can mean the beautiful accumulation of both wisdom and power. The ripple effect. Your transformation inspires others. And here's the most beautiful part. Your transformation won't stop with you. When people see a senior who radiates strength and calm, who stands tall and moves with confidence, who refuses to shrink beneath society's expectations of aging, you give them hope. You show them what's possible. You become a walking example that aging can be an adventure, not a surrender. Your presence, your energy, your refusal to give up becomes a gift to your family, your community, your world. Underneath it all, life force. What we're really talking about here isn't just muscle. It isn't just mobility or metabolism. It's life force. That quiet, radiant, unstoppable energy that animates your body, drives your healing, fuels your strength, and whispers every morning, "You're still here. You're still capable." In traditional Chinese medicine, they call it qi. The Japanese call it ki. Others call it prana spirit or simply inner power. Whatever the name, you have it. And the only question now is, will you use it? In the last section, we uncovered what's truly at the heart of aging powerfully life force. Not just the energy that moves your body, but the essence that gives meaning, clarity, and strength to every day you're alive. The universal energy behind longevity. In Ayurveda, they call it prana. In Shaolin tradition, it's internal energy. In modern wellness, you might hear it called vitality or life force. Whatever name you use, it all refers to the same thing, the underlying energy that determines whether you age with power and purpose or fade quietly into decline. And sadly, for most people, that connection to life force begins to fade as the years go by. They stop listening to their bodies. They stop tuning into their breath. They stop believing in their own potential for growth, for renewal, for strength. They accept fatigue as just part of aging. They accept weakness as inevitable. They accept decline as normal. And that mindset, that quiet resignation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the truth. The strength preservation protocol isn't just a way to keep muscle on your frame. It's a practice of cultivating your life force deliberately daily with awareness. When you breathe energy into your muscles, when you visualize strength flowing through your tissue, when you send messages of appreciation to your body, you're not just maintaining physical structure, you're stoking the fire of your inner vitality. Life force is more than just physical power. This vitality isn't only about how much you can lift or how fast you can move. It's about how clearly you think, how steadily you breathe, how deeply you feel connected to your purpose. It's about waking up in the morning with something to offer, a contribution to make no matter your age. It's about approaching the day with curiosity instead of caution, with intention instead of fear. And those seniors you sometimes hear about, the ones who remain vibrant, focused, strong, and engaged into their 80s and even 90s. They all have one thing in common. They never stopped nurturing their life force. They didn't accept the cultural lie that aging means fading. They treated their vitality like an investment with the same consistency and care they once gave their families, their careers, their communities. And it paid off. The cultural lies that keep us weak. Unfortunately, most people are not given that perspective. Instead, they're fed a series of subtle, dangerous lies about what it means to grow older. After 50, expect to slow down. Pain is inevitable. Prepare to lose independence. Just do your best to slow the decline. Sound familiar? These aren't just false beliefs. They are damaging scripts, psychological programs that actually accelerate the aging process. Because when you believe that weakness is inevitable, what do? You move less, you lift less, you stop challenging your body. And when that happens, your body obeys. When you expect pain, you become more sensitive to discomfort. When you anticipate dependence, you unconsciously begin practicing helplessness. But here's what no one tells you. Many of the struggles we associate with aging, slowness, weakness, confusion, instability, aren't the natural result of time. They're the result of disuse, poor habits, and deeply rooted limiting beliefs. Your body was designed to maintain strength and function well into your later years. But like any living system, it responds to the environment it's in and the signals it receives, challenging the narrative one night at a time. That's what the strength preservation protocol is really about. Not just stretching or breathing or muscle retention, it's about challenging the entire cultural narrative of decline. It's about demonstrating every single night that aging doesn't have to mean weakness. Each time you engage with this nighttime ritual, Each time you breathe deeply, focus intentionally, and send signals of strength to your body, you're proving that you are not at the mercy of age. You are participating in your own transformation, and over time, this participation adds up. This isn't about denying that aging is real. It's about aging with power rather than passivity. Yes, your body will change. Yes, you'll feel different at 70 than you did at 40. But those changes don't have to mean less strength. They don't have to mean loss of dignity or capability. With the right mindset, the right rituals, and the right respect for your body, aging can mean a deepening of wisdom, a sharpening of perspectives, and yes, a continuation of physical strength, sacred responsibility. You have a body. It has carried you through decades of love, pain, learning, and experience. And now it is your sacred responsibility to care for it, to honor it, to nurture it, not out of fear, but out of respect. The truth is, you were never meant to decline in silence. You were meant to rise with intention, to age with awareness, to inspire with your strength. You've come this far because deep down, you already know aging isn't just about survival. It's about how you choose to show up for yourself and for the generations watching you closely. You are the example they will follow. As someone who has dedicated my life to understanding the vast potential of the human body and spirit, I want you to truly understand this. Maintaining your strength is not just about you. It's about every single person who watches you grow older and forms their own beliefs based on what they see in you. It's about your children, your grandchildren, your community, the neighbors who quietly admire your discipline, the strangers who see you walking tall when they expect you to shuffle. You have a sacred responsibility to age powerfully, not just for your well-being, but as a living example of what's possible in later life. Every senior who accepts weakness without resistance, who moves as if their strength is already gone, unknowingly contributes to the idea that aging equals decline. But every senior who refuses to shrink, who walks with purpose, who speaks with clarity, who radiates vitality and calm, becomes a light in the dark for others. Because your energy ripples outward, when your grandchildren see you choose intention over resignation, strength over surrender, they learn that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. They learn that age can bring presence, power, and pride. Why this is more than a personal practice. This is why the Strength Preservation Protocol is so much more than a personal nightly habit. It's a cultural contribution, a quiet but powerful act of resistance against ageism, a daily rebellion against the billion-dollar system that profits from convincing seniors they're broken, a message that says, "Not me, not this time, not anymore." Every night that you preserve your muscle mass through breath, focus, and visualization, you're doing more than resisting decay. You're participating in a revolution, one that reminds society and your own subconscious that aging is not a curse. It's a continuation and potentially a transformation. The ancient masters understood this truth deeply. They believed that when one person cultivates strength and clarity, the entire community benefits, because personal discipline always contributes to collective wisdom. When you stand strong, you make strength more imaginable for everyone who follows you. The final truth I promised you. Now here's the final truth I said I would share. The one that could change how you see yourself and your body forever. Your muscles are not just meat and fiber. They are living libraries, repositories of memory and meaning. Every hug you've given, every mountain you've climbed, every moment you've stood up for what matters, every dance, every handshake, every step forward in faith or fear. All of it is encoded in your body. It lives in your muscle tissue. When you allow those muscles to weaken through neglect, you're not just losing strength, you're losing access to the wisdom of your lived experience. You're surrendering the physical story of your life. But when you practice the protocol I've shared with you, when you breathe, visualize, and send conscious care into your muscles, you're doing something profoundly human. You are preserving the essence of who you've been and keeping alive the foundation for who you still can become. Aging powerfully means living fully. This is why muscle loss feels so devastating, not just practically, but spiritually. Because on some level, we sense it. We feel the separation from our own history. But you can change that. You can restore the connection. You can reclaim the strength and wisdom that's been with you all along. So tonight, when you lie in bed and begin the protocol, when you inhale deeply and feel your body soften, when you scan each muscle and send it care, gratitude, and strength, know that you are not just maintaining muscle mass. You're preserving your identity. You're honoring the journey. You're making space for new memories, new adventures, new expressions of who you are still becoming. Your body has carried you through every joy and heartbreak, every victory and defeat, every act of courage and compassion that has shaped you. It deserves more than maintenance. It deserves your respect, your attention, and your partnership. Because your body has never given up on you, and it never will if you don't give up on it. The choice you make tonight. So tonight you have a choice. You can lie in bed and allow your body to continue consuming itself, or you can enter into a conscious relationship with your strength. You can choose to preserve, to rebuild, to reclaim. You can choose to prove to yourself and to the world that growing older doesn't mean fading. It can mean growing brighter, stronger, deeper, and more alive than ever before. And it all starts with a single decision. The Strength Preservation Protocol begins tonight. Your muscles are waiting for your attention, your breath, and your care. Don't let them wait another night. If this message resonated with you, if something inside you stirred, then you already know this isn't just a video. It's a call to wake up to your own power. Tap the like button if you're ready to rewrite the story of aging. Click subscribe to join thousands of others on this journey of conscious strength, clarity, and vitality right here on Life After 60 today. And in the comments below, share your own intention for tonight. What will you tell your body? What strength will you choose to remember? Your next chapter starts now, and it begins not in a gym, not in a clinic, but in the quiet of your breath, in the stillness of your bed, where transformation begins.